Ooh, sweet. Hello, lovely people. It is a beautiful day, and I am so excited to be here with you. God and Goddess, thank you so much for all this beautiful weather and the nature and all of the animals and all of the interactions that I've gotten to have recently. Thank you so much for existence and the opportunity to climb the golden ladder of being and to make up for past mistakes and try again. Please lead us and show us the way to be and show us the right steps to take to lead with kindness and love and compassion and help us to make this world into a garden paradise once more. In the name of Elohim, I pray. Amen. Today is Humanity Day, and the prayer is Our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. To humanity, send your angel of holy work. And we talk about holy work quite a lot. And it's kind of interesting. Today, I wanted to read to you from the book of Ishshah, which is in the Holy Megillah, the Nasarean Bible of the Essene Way, translated by Dave Greenleaf and available at essene.org. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this is actually because I've been having these really cool interactions with deer. Just this morning, I had some unsalted peanuts and I had a whole bunch in my hand. And one of the deer came up and was like burrowing in my hand enough, eating it enough that I was able to pet her head. And it was so exciting. So it reminded me of Peter Hoppen, and that is why I wanted to talk about Peter Hoppen today. So there's going to be maybe some animals and stuff behind me. This place has been really cool with, ooh, we got a cat down here that's trying to stalk the birds that are eating the nuts that are behind me. So, anyways, back to the story of Ishshah. And many of you may have seen the post that I made the other day about Sister Fly and talking about Ishshah explaining how you can actually just get the fly to go out the door. You don't have to kill her. There's another way. And this fly basically is part of the story. She gets saved by Ishshah and she goes outside into her daily life. And it starts in, well, technically you could read the whole, it's called A Day in the Way. And we've read it here before, but I think I had to take it down for copyright purposes. But it talks about Ishshah, introduces her and Ezra the frog, and how he becomes a priest of the Nazarene Way who goes around trying to teach other frogs that there's a better way than eating bugs, and that these delicious fruit that were in growing in the pond area as well were what frogs were meant to eat. Then it continues on to other animals and then the fly and then Peter Hoppen. So we're kind of jumping into chapter 6. This is right after Sister Fly is saved. And chapter 6 of the book of Ishshah. Perceiving that she had narrowly escaped with her life, Sister Fly felt very happy. She flew a distance from the home, danced in the sky, and said, "Because I was saved, I feel like saving another." Looking below, she saw her opportunity for a good deed. For behold, she saw a small grass fire starting to spread. And lying in the path of the fire, seemingly sound asleep, was a man. She must wake him. She must wake him, or he will die. Now, the fly did not know it, but the man was injured and had been knocked unconscious, sorry. And the story of the man was as follows. The name of the man was Peter, and he was a lover of nature, caring for animals and trees and all living things. Peter Greenman is what we will find out. For though he had never met Ishshah, he had heard stories about her and had been inspired. She loved everything with a maternal love and the ants and the grass and everything on earth. Peter was a warrior, for he waged a war against hunters and fishers. But his war was waged not with weapons, but with pranks. For he fought not with spears or arrows, but with tricks. Yea, he would hide animals and erase their tracks and leave false tracks for the hunters to follow. And he made sounds like animals so that the hunters followed him instead of the animals they hunted. And he warned animals of the approach of the hunters. And he disturbed waters just before the arrival of fishermen so that the fish would flee. Yea, Peter waged a nonviolent war, and his enemies were the hunters and fishers. Behold, some hunters thought Peter was a ghost and feared him. Others, having caught glimpses of him darting between trees, believed him to be half animal and half man, for he appeared to have head. But in truth, Peter was a man who loved animals and wore a hat of antlers on his head. Yea, Peter wore a hat of antlers, for he had made a promise to a dying stag. And here is the story of that promise. 3 months earlier, before he had launched his war to defend animals, Peter had been walking in the forest. There he came upon a dying stag. The stag had an arrow in his neck and was bleeding to death. Peter, who had long been a lover of animals and an abstainer from flesh meat, removed the arrow. He began to tend to the wound. Then, lo, the stag spoke to him. The stag said, "It is too late to heal me. I am dying. I have only a few breaths left." Peter, amazed that he could understand the words of an animal, replied, "Who did this to you, and why?" The stag answered, "Hunters roam the forest. They kill animals for both food and sport. The man who shot me desires my antlers as a trophy. Even now, he is following my trail of blood and will find me. He will cut off my head and display my antlers on his wall." How psychopathic is that behavior, anyways, to kill a living being, a loving animal? Once I've gotten to interact with these deer and actually like have them eat out of my hand and just love them, cutting off their head and hanging it on their wall. These behaviors are so bizarre that we've been programmed and normalized to accept. It's so bizarre. Continuing on, the stag saying, "You are kind, but it is too late to save my life. For behold, I have lost too much blood. But there is one thing you can do for me if you would." Peter replied, "Tell me what I can do for you, good stag." The stag answered, "Cut off my antlers now before the hunter finds me. He will then have no desire to display my head upon his wall. Lo, I wish not to be so displayed. I want you to keep my antlers as a gift freely given. May they be a blessing to you, good man." Speaking from his heart, Peter replied, "I will do as you ask. Yes, and I will make a hat of your antlers and will wear them as I oppose the foul deeds of the hunters. Lo, I am only one man, wherefore I cannot protect all animals from hunters, but I will protect as many as I am able. Yea, I will wage a war against the hunters, though I will use no violence. For behold, violence only begets more violence." The stag said, "You are brave and true. I die proud that such a man will wear my antlers. May my antlers be a sign unto the animal world that you are a friend. Peace be unto you." Then the stag closed his eyes and breathed his last breath. Though his body died, his spirit ascended unto El-Cush. There he was given a new body, for there are many animals in El-Cush, and all are vegetarian. and none hunt or kill. Peter did as he had promised. Using his gardening tool, he cut off the stag's antlers. Yea, and he bound them to his own head, making them his helmet for the war he would wage. And then he launched his war. Lo, for 3 months he waged his war, playing tricks on hunters, protecting the animals they hunted. How fun would that be? Like, I know there's at least one person that I know on Facebook that lives across the pond who helps, like, when they know that fox hunts are gonna be happening, they'll go out and try to mess them up and just cause problems. But this idea is so cool to even just when there's people that are hunt or fishing or doing whatever, trying to go and discreetly just, send some pebbles in the water and try to get the fish to go a different way so that they are not harmed. So for 3 months he waged war, playing tricks on hunters, protecting the animals they hunted, but then he was injured. Yea, he was unconscious, unconscious, and that happened as follows. Lo, it was not Peter's method to directly confront hunters, for he carried no weapons and could easily be killed. Wherefore, instead of direct confrontation, he relied on pranks. He hid animals from hunters, erased their tracks, and made false tracks. And he made animal sounds so that the hunters followed him instead of the animals they hunted. And when the hunters slept, he snuck into their camps and broke their weapons. After 3 months of this war, Peter was famous, being hated by the hunters. Some thought him to be a ghost. Others, catching a glimpse of him darting between trees, thought him half man, half animal because of the antlers bound to his head. But one day Peter had no choice but to directly confront a group of hunters, and they attacked him and knocked him unconscious. And that occurred in the following manner. Hiding behind bushes, Peter spied a group of hunters. One of them was about to slit the throat of a young lamb. Peter had no time for his usual pranks. He must instantly confront the hunters, or the lamb would be dead. Peter shouted, "Stop!" Then he stepped into the open and confronted the man, or the men, saying, "Do not harm that lamb." The men mocked Peter and laughed at him. One of the men took Peter's hat of antlers and threw it to the ground, saying, "So this is the ghost that is half man and half animal. He does not look so scary without his foolish hat." While the men took turns punching and kicking Peter, the lamb escaped, running into the forest. Woohoo. Then one, well, I'm cheering that the lamb got away, not that they were punching Peter. Anyways, then one man took a club and clobbered Peter on the head, knocking him unconscious. The man said, "Light a fire near his body. That way he will burn to death, and nobody will know that we killed him." Another man lit a fire, then said, "This fire will spread quickly. We must flee, or it will burn us." The men ran away. It was then that Sister Fly flew overhead looking for a good deed to do. Remember, she was feeling very happy, for Ishshah had saved her life. This happiness made her want to help another. Then she spotted the fire spreading near the sleeping man. Quickly, Sister Fly flew down and landed upon Peter's nose. Lo, she danced upon his nose, purposefully tickling him. Peter awoke and Sister Fly flew away. Peter never knew of her good deed. Peter, now awake, noticed the fire. "This fire must be extinguished before it spreads," he said to himself. In the distance, Peter saw an elephant with but one tusk. The day before, Peter had saved this elephant from a hunter. The hunter had made the elephant sleep by shooting her with a poisoned arrow, then cutting off one tusk. He would have cut off the other tusk and then killed the elephant, except that Peter intervened. How cool is that, too? When the elephant awoke and realized that Peter had saved her, she vowed, "If ever I can be of help to you, call me and I will come." Now, seeing this very same elephant in the distance, Peter called. The elephant, recognizing his voice, ran to Peter. Seeing the fire, the elephant ran to a nearby pond and filled her long trunk with water. Then she sprayed that water on the fire. She then called several nearby elephants to come and do likewise. Lo, the elephants came and helped, and the fire was soon extinguished. It might seem that the life of a fly is of little value, yet the saving of the life of a fly by Ishshah led to the saving of the life of Peter by the fly. And then Peter went on to save the lives of countless animals. Such is the way. Chapter 7, Ishshah and Peter. Having smelled the fire, Ishshah left the home of her hosts. She was at the home of these hosts, and this is where the fly was in the room, and she left the fly out, and the fly just saved Peter, and now she's leaving their home to go. She left the home of her hosts and resumed her walk. By the time she reached Peter, the elephants had extinguished the fire. Ishshah picked up Peter's hat of antlers and placed it upon his head. Lo, the lady of the green robe knew of this man with antlers, though she had never met him. For behold, her animal friends had spoken of his good deeds. And when the man of antlers beheld the lady of green robe, he knew her, though they had never met. For he had heard many tales of the lady of the forest, she who loved all creatures as her own. For behold, it was from hearing stories of her exploits that Peter had first conceived the notion of a ministry on behalf of animals. Ishshah said to Peter, "My animal friends love you. Yea, they sing of you." Peter replied, "It is your example I follow. For behold, hearing of your deeds inspired me to minister unto the animals. I knew not what form that ministry would take until I met a dying stag. But already I was called to such a ministry, for I heard tales of your love for all creatures and desire to follow your way. And I have desire to meet you and your holy husband, the great Nasarean teacher, Abdiel, who's also known as Abel, Cain's brother, the son of Mary, Adam and Eve. Definitely not Mary. I don't know why I'm thinking about Mary and Christ today, I guess. Lo, I have heard of the wisdom of the Nazarenes, but have never met a Nazarene until now. Please take me to your village and train me to be a priest. Yea, and train me in the healing arts, so that I may better heal the wounds of the animals hunted by men. Then let me return to the forest to defend animals from hunters, for behold, that is my calling." Ishshah said, "Lo, I agree to all that you ask, and more. You will be my general. Yea, you will lead my army. And that army is all those who will defend nature from the hands of the spoiler. Without violence, you will wage war in the name of the Lord and Lady. You will defend the defenseless. You will give refuge to the hunted, and you will perplex the hunter. For behold, Ishshah loves the hunter, but hates his deeds." So he says, "Will perplex the hunter." It's not like you're going to go and harm them. We're not hunting them. We're just going to perplex them. We're just going to send them in circles. We're going to confuse them. We're just going to make sure that they don't get the animal and that they, hey, did you get lucky catching anything? No. Well, actually you did, because your soul got lucky because you didn't kill and you missed out on that bad karma. Anyways, lo, your name is Peter, which means firstborn, and that is fitting, for you are the first soldier born to my army. And your title shall be Pen, which means cornerstone and leader. For you are the cornerstone of my temple and the leader of my army. So you shall be called Peter Ha Pen. And the name Peter Pen, sound like Peter Pan, right? Will be revered and cursed by hunters. Yea, the green will be given immortality, that he may live in the forests of this world forever, until the last coming of the Lord and Lady, and the end of this world. But be warned, you are but one man, and in this fallen world few will join your fight, and many will join the army of hunters. For such is the way of a fallen world. But do not give up or become disheartened. For behold, every animal you save is cause for celebration in heaven. And in the end, we will be victorious. For such is the way of Lord and Lady. With Peter the pen at her side, Ishshah continued her walk. Yea, she led Peter up the path to the Mount of Peace to the Nazarean village. There, Peter met holy Abdiel and the other Nazarenes. Then Ishshah continued her walk, beginning again the descent unto Cush, to minister to all creatures, for that is her way. When we read the other day from chapter 6 of the Holy God spell, it did also mention the Green Lion army, just saying in verse 233, until the last days, the Green Lions will be initiated Nazarenes, but in the last days, due to the ages of persecution, the Nazarenes will be of such small numbers that the Lions of Zion will raise up an army of Green Lions that includes anyone who will fight for Lion Creed Nazarene about this, army and being part of it, and just knowing that Peter Hoppen is waging this he's immortal and just going on and on. There's some other cool, interesting things about Peter Hoppen and him, well, falling in love and having an immortal spouse as well, which will be really exciting to read in a longer portion of a live stream. So um, I will read that with you in the future. David D says, I love the stories of Peter Hoppen. Isn't it so cool? I love that too. As soon as I heard that, like I have gone into the woods in Mount Shasta and kind of said, not like prayed to Peter, but it's just like, Peter, show me what I can do. Let's do some fun stuff. It'd be really cool to be able to help save some animals, not just being vegan, but actively like throwing hunters off people's scent and being able to or throwing hunters off the animal's scent and being able to actually save them. David D says hunting is totally psychopathic. Exactly. The whole idea of waiting for innocent and harmless these deer that keep coming by, and there's too many people that are walking by, but they've just been so cool to interact with. And the thought of hurting them is just really, really barbaric. Hello, Shayla. Shayla says, how can you afford flying from Mount Shasta to Florence, Oregon for the Essene Church for a few times a month? I actually don't, I don't fly, and the car that I drive usually gets really good gas mileage. It's only like 4.5 hours. So it's really quite affordable, especially with gas in Oregon being cheaper. So I'm very blessed for that. That being said, church is only once a month. I have been able to go up other trips for usually acquiring more Megillahs or trying to meet with the pastor. I'm trying to make my presence there more, not permanent, but be there a little bit more often, so that I can be trusted in a more dependable way. For instance, when the monthly church services through Zoom, there are, technical things that need to happen with the computer and just different things that if I was gonna for sure be there, I could potentially help with. But since I'm in Mount Shasta and I'm like not there so much, the distance and the highways are not really that great, especially in the winter. So it's not like, oh, well, we can really rely on her to be here because she's so far away. So I am trying to, at least for the church services, make a way that I am gonna be there more dependably and reliably so that I can be more involved, because I really appreciate, again, being able to connect with Megillah lovers and be in, like, a church atmosphere of worship and learning and praise and fellowship and all of that really great stuff. So until that is manifested here in Mount Shasta, then I mean, even still, actually, when it's manifested in Mount Shasta, I still plan to go to the Mother Temple to have church every month, because that's just what I feel called to do. So anyways, yeah. David, he says Peter had no fear, stepped in to save the lamb and got beaten unconscious for it, and they tried to kill him with fire, but he was saved and then put out the forest fire. Truly inspirational. Definitely. And also, he come Peter Hoppen comes into the story of Noah as well, which is different than the biblical story of Noah. It's also different than the Sumerian idea of the potential idea of this ship with all of the, DNA on it and all that stuff. It's actually a much cooler story in my opinion. So, we'll have to get into that in the future. Sorry about the on and off with the light. I need to get a better seat for tomorrow. Scott says, "Is this Hebrew?" Isha means a woman in Hebrew. Absolutely, you are right. Isha does mean Hebrew in woman, and her name being that, if you read one of the footnotes in the Holy Megillah, it talks about her name being that, meaning that she was like the embodiment of woman on this earth, and the way that she just loved everything and everyone, the blades of grass, the little ant, the fly. She just loved that maternal love towards absolutely everything, and well, it makes sense why she's the angel of the earthly realm right now, earthly mother. Scott said, "I stopped eating animals 6 years ago after reading the Essene Gospels." Oh, that's awesome. Have you, been able to the Nasarean Bible of the Essene Way? When I got into all of this, I started with the Essene Gospels as well, and the Gospel of the Holy 12, and, like, the Essene Humane Gospel of Christ, which I still absolutely love. This came onto my radar when people were talking about the prophecies in it that were basically talking about an AI takeover and different things of that extent, and transhumanism. And then I started actually reading the Old Testament stories and how creation happened, the story of Adam and Eve, and how much different it is from the Aaronic Bible, where, God is this angry tyrant and all of these go to war, just a lot of different evil things that are written in the name of don't make sense. When you start reading this gives you the backstory and who these characters are, and even the way that they are portrayed is it's just such a higher vibrational set of teachings and scrolls that I would encourage everyone to do. Um, Hey Dave, how's it going? Dave says freaking Peter Pan and Peter, the foundation of Isha's army. What a mix of those two separate stories we hear on mainstream. Exactly. Yeah, Peter Pan, and how he is this young forever, on the island, right? There's just that story that we're shown in the media, and yeah, how much cooler it is that he's not just leading this lost colony of lost boys, or lost colony, I think I mixed a few things up there, but he's actually fighting for the animals and here with us now. So, hey Peter, what's up? David says, any updates on you helping get the finished Megillah out? I actually have not gotten any updates yet, but today I am planning on finishing the recording of a song that I wanted to send today, and I will be asking what the progress is with that, and if there is a potential way for me to maybe help out in the bookstore a little bit, and other things that I can also do to help get those things along. Um, So yeah, I know that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I'm really excited to help do it. I love helping, and especially when it's my holy work and this spiritual Watchers corrupted humans to eat animals. I think the Watchers corrupted humans to eat animals, and I would definitely agree. Again, if you read the Holy Megillah, I don't want to ruin it because if you're actually going to read it, then like it's so enticing and exciting. But you find out that right from the beginning, the false Yahweh is the one that says, "Hey, I'm God, and you need to go and kill animals, and then you need to eat them." And the reasoning is very interesting. The way that the scripture speaks is very interesting. So I don't want to ruin it. I would like to leave that for you. If you are able to, in the description should have a link to a little chirp website that has a PDF of the Megillah that you can read the book of Genesis and the glory of Kings, the book of Ishshah, these really, really awesome Old Testament stories. They're really, really cool. So you can read all of those for free at that website, and also access the Essene bookstore where you can purchase a copy of this if you would like. Kyle, hello. Kyle says, "Is your song guitar and vocals?" Yes, it's going to be guitar and vocals. I'm not sure if I'm going to be adding keyboard or anything to it yet, but definitely. I was actually looking this morning at a whole list of songs because I would like to have some Essene praise and worship music. So I am working. I mean, I guess right now I'm kind of working on a children's album that's like changing, like instead of Jesus loves me, it's like Jaja loves me, and kind of incorporating the masculine and feminine divine and branching out a little bit more with the same like songs that people are familiar with, so that like I don't know, I guess it's mainly for me, but also for the people that are like me that want those things. So yeah, I'm planning to record those, and I'm super excited about it. So I will be I'll share it with you. Yeah. Oh, David E says it can hear it. Actually, I am really excited to share it with you as soon as it's done because I have there's a meme that goes with it that I have not posted because I wanted to share it with the link of the song. So anyways, maybe I'll just say by this weekend because I don't know. I mean, I know that it can go really fast, but I don't want to make any promises or have to rush it. So I will get it to you as soon as possible. And with that, I think I'm going to go and start working on it because I'm super excited and I'm feeling inspired. So I hope that you have a wonderful day. I will be here. Oh, tomorrow's Wednesday. So I'm going to have a little prayer time at noon and maybe a little story. But then at 3:30, get on here and have more chat about conspiracy topics and like flat earth and other stuff. Like I'm still into talking about the truth of our reality and all of those other fun topics. And I would love to chat about whatever you would like to talk about in the live chat um, tomorrow at 3:30. So that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful day. May God and the goddess empower you and light your way.